Welcome to Unfold Your Soul. Welcome to this moonscape. Today we're going to have a look at the new moon in Virgo and all that that brings to us. We're going to go for it quite intuitively, as it will just be my voice today. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll be offering an energetic background and highlight some of the psychological themes this new moon brings forward. We will have it occurring on the 6th or the 7th of September, depending where you are walking this beautiful planet. And I'll dive into the energetic background, some of the psychological themes this new moon brings forward. And hopefully this helps you to navigate September with trust and with love, and to embody the healing energy of the stars with greater ease. The title that came up for this new moon chart is the 24th hour, and time management and the feeling of time, the feeling of numbers almost, will be a topic for all of us, I feel. I'm going to start with some intuitive messages and general energies, and then dive into the relationship with self and other, of course, which is an aspect of this moment in time very much present, given we have North Node still in Gemini, inspiring us towards correct human relationships, new ways of relating, where we can see the harmony beyond all opposition. I will end with some insights on our health as well, because Virgo is the archetype concerned with healing and the crisis and opportunity of having a body in the first place, right? This slice of spirit incarnated here on earth. So thanks again for being here. Virgo is a fascinating constellation. I'm excited to dive into this moment. Pour yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, take in what you need. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe so I can bring more of this to you. I also love to read you, so please leave a comment or a reflection, and you can help more people find this content by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. So Virgo, that's the sign coming after Leo. And first thing to say is that we had a reverse moon cycle situation going on, meaning that we had the full moon of the more mature sign on the axis, because new moons and full moons happen on an axis, for example, Virgo, Pisces. So we had for a while, we had the full moon occurring before the new moon. Now our timing is set straight, so to say. We will have a new moon in Virgo, and then later this month a full moon in Pisces. So this being said, Virgo is the constellation that is the stage of life after giving birth. So if in Cancer, the mother is creating the child, is watering, is feeding the child inside of her body. In Leo, the child is born, sees the light. And then in Virgo, this is the body asking for purification and adjustment to the concept of motherhood. That's actually the critical aspect of Virgo. The unnecessary needs to go when we become mothers, symbolically or literally. But when you look at it literally, there is no time for BS. So there's definitely a heightened awareness of time and schedule and management and detail. Because we all know, like, a child benefits from a certain rhythm. It just arrived on the earth, so the mother is, through her tie with the child, giving that rhythm of life to the child. So the last 2 weeks of August, they spoke to time, but in a different way. They spoke about memory, the cultural memory we share, our stance on history, our collective memory, telepathy between soulmates, between our soul families, and we are riding out the Uranus Retrograde effects, which were quite intense all around. So timing, yes, and timing related to health. So now that we are back in this complementary way of living the new moon and the full moon, and having a completion after the start, we can see that with this double lunation we had in Aquarius, where this adjustment happened, we also had a series of difficult adjustments in regards to our relationships, our thinking, our health, our purpose. So August has not been an easy month, and Virgo season is really a season where we can put things in order. We clear out the cabinets. We ask ourselves, what do I actually want in this cabinet? And this might be a literal thing you want to do, like go into your kitchen and open all the cabinets and clear them out. Traditionally, Virgo relates to purification, to optimizing the form and the organization. It makes a great secretary. Detail structuring. It's also a moment traditionally where it would be advised to take on a new diet or install a different exercise schedule than the one you had before, one that is more related or more adjusted to what you need right now. So a question one can ask oneself at this new moon in Virgo is, what daily habits would make me feel better? And it's nice to sit with this one. What actually makes us feel better makes us more productive. There is this Zen saying that meditate 20 minutes a day, and if you're very busy, meditate an hour. I mean, it's a tough part of self-love, this organization part, this habitual thinking as well. It's not about pleasure or pampering ourselves, but actually creating a better self. It's about time as a sacrifice and the body as a crisis, as I mentioned, the crisis of it having to adjust to a life where there is another life to take care of. So it's both a gift in Virgo, in the more positive expression, to have a body, and a crisis. Because we cannot blissfully and formlessly float in the divine ethers, which would be Pisces. Naturally, Virgo often gives a lean body. And some Virgo placements karmically point at lifetimes where we might have been pretty hard on our own bodies, where we sacrificed, Pisces, complementary sign of Virgo, physical well-being. And this is not in a Taurus-Scorpio axis kind of way, which can speak to actual hunger, Middle Ages, Dark Ages rather, great wealth as well. It can also speak to great wealth, Taurus Scorpio, great wealth through the Taurus archetype because of a unique talent that is honestly and authentically expressed, or through Scorpio via big corporation enterprises or shared resources through alliance, marriage, all those things. In Virgo Pisces, it's different. It's more about the consciousness, the scarcity and abundance consciousness. So it's a mental affair. Let's remember Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So there is work behind the scenes in September. Things aren't really out in the open. And they are coming to be out in the open because we are approaching a series of oppositions. We had one in the wake of this new moon, the Neptune-Mars one. I will get into that a bit later, but that was not an easy one. So we are being asked, okay, what are the words we are not saying? What are the actions we are not taking? And this is the moment to really have an honest conversation with oneself about that. So, because Virgo is exoterically ruled by Mercury and on a soul level ruled by the moon, Virgo links the aspects of matter of our form life, of our bodies. So from a soul perspective, like having a body and not be floating somewhere in the cosmic ocean of God's love. And this link is made to our thoughts, Mercury. So do you feel rich and wealthy? We can, for example, go on a holiday feeling poor and do a lot of accounting about it. Or we can go on a holiday in abundance and from a space where we know that all is given. And a friend, her name is Sarah Joy Gaines. She told me that to not do something because that would be scarcity consciousness. And I thought that was really interesting coming from somebody with Virgo in a chart, because it speaks to this concept of, do I deserve this? And that's something Virgo is a sign where in its shadow expression there can be a critical voice installed, something that almost leans to self-punishing, that comments on our actions and our words while we are living life. So as if there is always a commentary to what we're doing. In the light, however, beauty is there in Virgo. Virgo is beauty expressed through form. It's the abundance mindset of Pisces, which is being everything, loving everyone, Christ consciousness, manifested in gorgeous architecture, temples, buildings, gorgeous design, perfectly proportioned bodies, all of that. I feel that many people are having revelations around that topic of scarcity and abundance now. Even people who usually don't really have this accounting mentality might be confronted with it. Just through life, through others, through the situation they find themselves in, the chapter of the lives they are walking through now. And in 2022, we will work with Jupiter in Pisces full time. And Jupiter in Pisces wants us to feel abundant. So I feel this new moon gives us a glimpse of what we need to let go of in terms of thinking for us to truly be abundant. There might also be conversations if you are in a relationship with someone, if you are in an established relationship, there might be conversations in the couple about money. Because this new moon in Virgo wants to heal scarcity consciousness. And we can make an Excel spread about things. If that's what makes the other person feel secure, why not? Now, this scarcity consciousness plays out on this mental relational level. So, for example, this idea of not communicating if you feel hurt by the actions of another and changing that, or not taking action. The non-action of someone can be strongly felt under this new moon, I feel, or when there is a silence from someone, or you are silencing someone by not reaching out. These are topics that are vivid. Now, this also speaks to our relationship styles, and there is a lot going on about that on healing podcasts, psychology podcasts, on these attachment styles. And this Virgo new moon, it will bring up conversations around avoidant attachment relationship styles. Because if we avoid giving of ourselves, that's scarcity consciousness. The idea of not doing something because we're just so afraid of love. We don't want to risk love. The idea of withholding love to prevent being hurt is being stuck in our wounded child, basically. And Chiron is still in Aries, addressing that wounded self. And this brings us again to the topic of love and relationships. So as we see here on this chart, or maybe you don't see it, but I'm looking at it for us. And I focus on this because North Node is in Gemini, and it pulls the collective consciousness forward in the direction of correct human relationships through the use of more beautiful language, conversational technique, the ability to see the harmony underlying each opposition. Basically, we are learning to agree to disagree. It doesn't change my love for you if you have a different opinion. Please do have a different opinion. It's going to make the world more interesting. And in this moment, this collective purpose of more beautiful ways of relating that are being created all over the world is quite challenged. We have this North Node in Gemini conjunct Lilith, and this tells us that you have to look at the shadow aspect of yourself. You have to look at the shadow aspect of your relationships to move forward and to truly embody this new way of relating we are collectively creating. So we might have to look at our anger that is deeply stored and where it is stored in our body, Virgo, so we can move forward. Venus is in Libra after all, so she wants to love and to feel at home in that love. However, we work still with a lot of retrograde energy, and at the end of the month that's going to be even stronger with Mercury going retrograde in the sign of relating, that is Libra. So that's another topic for the end of this month, but there's a lot of integration still taking place. So moving to the topic of relationships and love, I'm looking at Venus, the way we love, the way we relate. And at this new moon, Venus in Libra is squaring Pluto in Capricorn, 24 degrees, 25 degrees. So that's a pretty tight square. This is a challenging aspect. This is an aspect where we enter into conflict. In the larger conversation of Venus with Pluto, this is where love is a transformative dance. It's the alchemy of love. It's to destroy what was to create something better. It's birth and death. It's karmic encounters, to be perfectly fair. And we had the opposition of Venus and Pluto around the solar eclipse in June. And my love for astrology, it's very much rooted in this ability of astrology, of the planetary conversation, to give a language to this inexplicable karmic heartbeat of two strangers colliding at a given time. And June was a place of such collision. It was a place of meeting our love karma in a context, meaning in the other. It was a place of karmic encounters. Karmic, I don't mean good or bad, but karmic, I mean an opportunity to confront who you were in the past and to create, Pluto, a new version of self that moves into the light. Now, the square is a challenging aspect, and it's a challenging transformation of the way we love in relationships. For some of us, this is going to play out literally. You might have met someone in June or have had an important karmic encounter with a partner. It doesn't have to be a partner. There's a lot of Aquarius at the moment. It can be very much reflected in our friendships as well. So there might have been a karmic encounter with someone who matters to you in June. And this will come to the forefront now and it's asking us to address the masculine-feminine balance within ourselves. Because Venus in Libra wants us to balance this out. Of course, these karmic encounters can also happen within, like the yogic way. Was Terence McKenna who said relationships are the yoga of the West and of the East, the yoga of the East, it happens on your own mat with yourself. Virgo is a sign that produces writers, which is a solitary activity very often, and it also produces yogis who do their relationships on the mat within. Now Mars is still in Virgo, inviting us to do the work within. It's exactly 30 degrees behind on Venus. I see here that's a semi-sextile, and it's pretty close to this new moon. So this is a Martian new moon. This means that this new moon asks for action. Action speaks louder than words in love now, and there's a plateau reached of what can be said and how much words can change. Both Mercury and Venus are, however, in Libra. Libra speaks to one another. So both are still necessary. We still need language. And we also know that Mercury will retrograde there in Libra. So there is a conversation to be held. But there is, first and foremost, a conversation to be held with a wounded self, the wounded child, which is showing in relationships. And there is so much beautiful psychology rising around these themes I mentioned earlier, the attachment styles, anxious, avoidant, all that stuff, which can help us navigate and show us how old patterns of thinking keep us stuck in relating to the same kind of people or relating in the same way to different people, which gets the same results eventually. What's interesting during this new moon is that it's very much air and earth. There's very little fire and water going on. And It means that we're asked to declutter from sky to earth. There's this beautiful concept of the Kohis who say that the only way we can actually purify or do something, offer something to Mother Earth, and this idea of service is very much embedded in the Virgo archetype. The only way we can do that is to clean our thoughts, to think cleaner, more beautiful thoughts. And Mars is just ahead of the Sun-Moon conjunction, which makes a new moon. So our actions, we're conscious of the fact that Mars is conscious, let's say, that he has to adjust something to access or see his true potential. He's trine Jupiter. So he wants to tap into a generosity of spirit. And this transformation of our action field has to happen on a level of the body through our thoughts, but it has to be acted upon. With this Mars being exactly a semi-sextile behind on Venus, there is also this energy of actions of the past or man of the past. So this can translate to ex-lovers we are not yet over, which are actually past love identities we have yet to surrender. This can relate to old wounds because of actions we took or did not take in love that we are keeping alive. This can speak to healing fantasies that we still have in regards to our childhood wounds, the love that we did not receive and were looking for, yearning for in our childhoods that we now project on our passers-by in life or our close ones. So then there's this question, how do we transform the way we love? What do these new relationships look like? And here we return to the square of Pluto and Venus. Square, so challenging encounter. What would be the higher expression of conflict? It's resolution. So this comes from addressing the things, of saying the things instead of holding back and letting them eat you. And that's also a way of purifying. So many things can help here, like writing, journaling, saying it, recording yourself saying things to someone, even if you're not sending it because it might not be the place yet. In regards to Pluto, it's a rebirth that comes through confronting the complexities of love as a broader concept. And with that, with North Node in Gemini, we can ask ourselves, are we to retrain ourselves to be attracted to more healthy connections, more healthy friendships, more healthy partners? Yes, that's one reality. But with North Node in Gemini, there is a sense of doubles, of being our own twin, being our own best friend. So there's also a possibility of holding both realities in our consciousness. Yes, there's this one way of actually looking at the reality of a person and see if this is a healthy connection for us, but also honoring the blueprint of the beauty of the karmic blueprint we came with. That's something interesting because Virgo, it's a sign of karma. It's a sign, in Virgo, we have given birth to something, Leo. So the son came out, the child came out, and then we are dealing with all the consequences of that. So we have to take action. We have to show up, showing up. That's how do we show up? That's a really important question here. And yes, we are to transcend all the personality blockages that are represented in our personal charts, but our challenges in love are also our ways to expand the way we love. And our challenges in love are represented in this karmic blueprint, which attracts us to certain relationships, to certain people. So it doesn't have to be so binary, I feel. We can know our pattern, we can see like, oh, you have the same pattern, and yet it's the awareness and the willingness to heal and the ability to communicate and to lay the conversation, lay the heart on the table that is going to make all the difference. And to infuse this with some luck, there is the wonderful announcement that Venus is also trining Jupiter, and that supports an abundant love that is all the things, which supports this idea of a loving awareness of our complexity as a human being. If you're looking for harmony and friendship all around, then Jupiter in Aquarius is the way forward now, and that's the energy to tap into, because Aquarius, it's our knowing. It's knowing that we are part of a larger whole of humanity, and that we can see the beauty in all aspects of our humanity within and without. Beyond this desire of projecting logic upon all things. Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, and I see here also that Saturn is forming a collaborative aspect to what we have to let go of in this cycle. And I feel that Saturn is teaching us to let go of abandonment issues that karmically blocked the way forward. Now we're moving ahead, but it's step by step. Because this new moon, it also comes quite freshly after the test of fate we had earlier last week. The test of fate of Mars opposite Neptune, which is a sort of face-off between ego and God, or the divine, whatever word you're comfortable with, between life and the dream of life. It brings to surface all those insecurities, which can make us really fun at dinner parties, but yes, it might be less fun to live alone at night. So in terms of fear, there might be fears of not meeting the expectations of others. And remember that this is often a projection. We expect a lot of ourselves, and that's really something we do to ourselves. And with this, I come back to this idea of the 24th hour, that it's time to have a very honest chat with ourselves about what do we want, what do we desire, and how does that connect to our body and our health? Because we come out of the first weeks of Uranus Retrograde. This is an Aquarian year, so Uranus is an important planet. And this retrograde, I saw all around me that it was so strongly felt in glory and in pain. I mean, in glory, it brought a lot of telepathy, a lot of messages, a lot of feeling the numbers, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of feeling connected to the larger vision of humanity, and to the fact that we're all human, because we're all receiving the same things to work with. So that's a beautiful thing. But it also brought up themes of like infections, reverse effects of vaccines, blood circulation problems, issues with the nervous system, also ruled by Aquarius and Uranus, fragility of the ankles, which actually grounds us, Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is our grounding. And given that this is this electrical charge energy, which is Uranus, is living in Taurus, that's where we ground. There has been a few people literally on the floor, or literally horizontal, and I was one of them. So with Uranus making a trine to this new moon, that's really great, because it gives us a fresh start to heal, Virgo. The Uranian health issues that were brought forward around that retrograde, which was a few days before the full moon in Aquarius. I think it was the 19th. So you can reflect back on that. Was there anything that was going on? And it might not be in your own body, might be in the body of a loved one, or might have been a change of the of idea, just a lightning flash, something coming back to you that is not from this lifetime, just an instant knowing. And with that, what are the changes we can make in our daily behavior, in our habits, the things we repeat daily, like going to bed, waking up, the position in which we sleep. Also the way we show up on a daily basis for each other, for our friends, for our loved ones. The way we say thank you when someone does something nice for us. And I feel that's an important one. When somebody does something that is seemingly small, like making us a cup of tea, like how we appreciate that, that becomes all the more precious. And if something was brought to surface within your own body or the bodies of those you care about, or within your own mind, your mental health, I do feel that meditation on gratitude is the medicine of this new moon in Virgo, because in its most positive expression, Virgo is the grace of being embodied. It's the gift of life, the beauty of having a body. So all these mantras like, thank you for allowing me to heal this. Thank you. That's really, really a beautiful thing. And as a last note, technology, our smartphones as extensions of ourselves, as an extension of our body and mind, what would be a healthy way to integrate technology in your life right now? And setting a new intention in regards to your relationship, our relationship with our technology, with our phone, with any technology that you would use on a daily basis. That can be really interesting right now as well. And then thank you so much for sharing your time with me. If you like this content, be sure to share with friends as well. Please leave us a comment or a reflection. And you can help more people find this video by giving it a thumbs up and by subscribing, of course. Thank you so much. And remember to watch the stars.